Ah, yes. Because it's 2020, I continue to have a few audio problems.
This book is a little bit of Christian missionary propaganda.
And he perhaps is based upon a well-known literary figure, or perhaps even a historical figure.
Now, Didymus is simply the Greek word for twin. It's also used as the Greek word for testicles, for obvious reasons. There are usually two of them.
She kissed them.
Your fruit shall be without root, and your shoots shall be dried up like a branch scorched by a strong wind.
How many of you find this child Jesus an adorable, little, cute little baby? Nobody? Good.
I sprinkled my body with the bathwater that his mother had used to wash him off, and in that instant I was healed.
Greetings, fellow Ricker slaves, podcasting at 128 kilobits from the Fortress of Squalitude, located not far from the Redneck Mecca. This is the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast. I'm your host, Tucker. Professor Fuznuts is curled up asleep on the couch. I have no idea where Buddha is. Ash and Lord Squeakington are in my room. Yes, it's a podcast hosted by a guy and his cats. Get over it. And this is a Gnostic text episode, and Felicia from the Utah Outcast Podcasts is my co-host for this, and we had a really good time reading the text, as bad as the text was. But I will say that there were some minor audio issues that I can do nothing about. They're not. They were caused by a internet connection issue, and I don't know if it was on my end or on Felicia's end. But there are a couple of times when you hear it, you know, her voice just like Cylons or something, and you'll probably hear the Skype cycling to recall her, even though it actually did not hang the call up and call her back. But it does do the boop boop thing once or twice. But they're minor annoyances, and they're very much. I don't know what it was, and she didn't know what it was, and so, you know, we couldn't fix it. We just did the best we could with what we had, because America. And if you're wondering why my voice sounds the way it does, it's because I'm having a little trouble sleeping and I'm up late. And also the fact that I'm drinking Kava Kava might have something to do with that. If you're not familiar with Kava Kava, it is a root that good God, who the hell are the cargo cult tribes? If you're familiar with cargo cults who sprang up after World War II because the U.S. and the British occupied certain islands in the Pacific during World War II, and the islands are located around Papua New Guinea, and the U.S. and the British occupied them during World War II to use them as staging areas in the war against Japan. And Kava Kava is a plant that the natives use as a relaxant, sort of like alcohol. And I saw, hey, there's this chocolate Kava Kava drink you can get. So I got some, and I'm trying it out. I will say, as far as drinks go, it's not really good in terms of chocolate flavor. Part of that is because Kava Kava generally tastes really nasty. And part of it is because the company that made the drink decided we're not going to use real sugar to sweeten this. We're going to use stevia because, you know, they're all granola crunchy and stuff. Well, a side effect of this that I have noticed, because I've had Kava Kava pills and haven't felt any impact from them. The drink I do feel some impact. Most notably is the fact that my tongue is, and parts of my mouth are numb. I don't know if it's made me mellower or not, but my tongue is numb, and parts of my mouth are numb. And it kind of reminds me of the Simpsons episode where they have the chili cook-off, and Homer can't handle the chili made by Chief Wiggum, which has the Guatemalan insanity peppers in it, so he coats his tongue with molten wax so he can eat the chili without feeling the heat. And then he proceeds to have this really awesome hallucination. And watching that episode actually made me really like spicy food. Because I'm like, wow. If you could eat hot peppers and start hallucinating, that would be fucking awesome. And it turns out you actually can. I haven't gotten any of the particular kinds of hot peppers that cause you to hallucinate, but apparently there are some out there that definitely do this. There's a video of a local NPR host who tries, I think it's Carolina Reaper pepper, and you know, he eats it raw, throws up, and then is laying on the floor and talking almost incoherently about certain things. Something involving a small dog, as I recall. There's no context as to what inspired him to do that. He's just talking about this story about a small dog, and the story doesn't make a lot of sense. And you're like, dude's probably hallucinating. Anyways, so that's where I am at the moment. As for things around here, of course, since, I just put an episode up yesterday, not a whole hell of a lot has changed. I will say that Tasha and I managed to replace a few light fixtures in here that have needed to be replaced for a while. There's some kind of troubling issues I discovered with a couple of them as we did it, but can't really do anything about those at the moment. I will deal with them in the near future. And I have a strange issue where one of the circuit breakers keeps getting tripped again, even though there's not an unusually high load on it. So I'm not sure what that is. Might have something to do with some of the issues I found while we were changing the light fixtures. Might have something to do with something else. I don't know, and I won't know for a little while yet. But I don't think the house is in any danger of burning down in the near future, but I could be wrong about that. One thing I really need to point out, because it occurred to me while I was dealing with all this crap with fixing the lights, is, I lived in what is euphemistically called manufactured housing, aka a trailer. Now, there are other kinds of manufactured housing out there that don't look like a beer can, and in places like Japan and China, I know there are manufactured housing that's, it's apartment buildings. It's not merely a trailer or something that looks like a house. And of course, your tiny houses can technically be considered manufactured housing depending on the circumstances upon which they're built. But so I'm fucking with all this shit as far as swapping the lights out and the light fixtures. And so, Tasha's holding the new fixture up, and I'm sitting there trying to get the wires wrapped together and screw on a wire nut. And all I can think about while I'm doing this is there's got to be an easier way of this. If you decide, hey, I'm going to build my own PC, all your components that go into that PC have standardized connectors, and you don't need to add anything to those connectors to hook them up. You've got, say, a video card. Well, it's got, connectors on it, and they plug into a slot. If you want to, your printer has, if you've got a wired printer rather than a wireless printer, you've got a USB cable that hooks up to it. You don't have to, splice wires together, solder something to the motherboard, and use that to connect this or that component. And it's like, you would think that the folks that did manufactured housing would have something like that, because I know for decades now, not only in the computer industry have they had standardized connectors where the power supply that goes to the hard drive, for example, it's a standard shape and you plug that in, but automobiles have had standard connectors for a while now, so it's not a really shitty connection system like they have on older cars, where you were sitting there trying to screw a couple of wires together, or you had a whole bunch of wires that had to be individually connected to hook up one component. You've got your component, say a radio or your alternator or something like that, and it's got a standard connector on the back of it. The wiring harness has got a standard connector on it that hooks up to it. You would think that the manufactured housing industry, which has been around since it's been around since the early to mid 1900s, because Henry Ford was a pioneer in manufactured housing, believe it or not. His thing didn't work terribly well because he had this idea where the house would be made out of poured concrete, and they did the houses. I don't remember how many they did. They did a few thousand, I think, and they're not terrible. The big issue people had with him was like, well, I want to put a window in this wall, and it's not as easy if it was a wooden house or if you needed to add a door or something like that. But like all the interior, not only the exterior walls were poured concrete, but the interior walls were poured concrete, so it created some issues. And that was early 1900s, maybe 100 years ago. And then, of course, there's been various designs since then. There's beer cans like I live in. There's double and triple wides, which look like an ordinary house but aren't. There were Lustron homes built in the late 40s, early 50s that were along those lines. Buckminster Fuller, he had a whole bunch of different ideas for manufactured homes. And none of them got off the ground for complicated reasons that have very little to do with the engineering and more to do with the issues of trying to get a business up and running when you're a threat to the existing business model out there. But he, in the 1920s, he came up with his first manufactured housing idea, and then he had a few more within a few years of that, and then he had another one in the 40s and then a third one in the 50s, and then in the 60s he came up with the geodesic dome, which is what he's probably best known for. And he didn't do anything with that. He said this is how it could be made into a manufactured home, and lots of other companies have done that over the years since. But you would think that they would have a simple thing to hook standard components like light fixtures up in places, but they don't. And it's really a shame, because I'm sure the argument somebody would make was, well, okay, so they want to do that now, but can you imagine trying to retrofit everything? But there are ways that you could do it so it would be simple to retrofit, and it wouldn't it wouldn't take any specialized tools. It wouldn't cost a hell of a lot of money. It would just be you grab the old wires, put the connector on them, clamp it real quick, and then you just plug it into the new light fixture or whatever. I mean, you could do it with light fixtures, electrical outlets, anything that's standard. You wouldn't have to have, it wouldn't be limited to just one or two things. And, they could do it with everything, and it would just make a hell of a lot more sense. So, of course, that's why we don't do it, because fuck us all, right? Okay, that's enough of my rambling right now. Let's get to Felicia and I reading from more of the Acts of Thomas, and I will say Felicia makes this a very fun listen, even if some of the subject matter is not terribly exciting. She was a very, very good co-host for this, and I will probably have her back for another one of these things, although the next one will be done by Skullbeard. So, with all that out of the way, let's get to Felicia and I reading from more of the Acts of Thomas.
All right, joining me on this episode is the incredibly charming and talented Felicia from the Utah Outcast podcast.
That's so sweet. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
I've enjoyed our interactions on Facebook and when I've been on the Utah Outcast with you. So,
yeah, I've always loved talking to you too.
Yeah. So, yes, we will be inflicting more of the Acts of Thomas on you. But one of the things we just got to talk about is you recently recovered from COVID-19. So I really want to hear about that.
Yeah, so it's actually like it sounds like good news, but to me it's actually really more ominous. I got a positive test, and it did really disrupt my life. But this was back in September. But I actually never got sick.
Oh well,
no fever, no loss of taste or smell, nothing. So that I looked into the chances of getting a positive test, and this was a positive test that I got because I was supposed to have a surgery. But that got, canceled and rescheduled like nearly 2 months later.
And you were lucky to be able to get it then, weren't you?
Yeah, no. They said that I quarantined and I tested negative. That was they were good with that. They didn't even make me test again.
Yeah. Okay. Because, well, I mean, here, the hospitals have been overloaded for months now, and now we're to the point where we're down to like 2% of ICU beds. So, unless you're dying, they ain't cutting you.
Yeah. Right. No. This was before I got my surgery before Thanksgiving, and so we hadn't hit 90. What are we at? 95% in ICU beds right now being taken. Yeah, so it's bad now. But the hospital I got my surgery at is not like a COVID. Don't. I'm busy. Sorry, cat.
I know the feeling well. So.
It wasn't. It's not a hospital that's taking a lot of COVID patients. Like they, obviously they are if they have to, but they have them in a special section. I wasn't anywhere near that, and then they aren't one of the main hospitals handling it. They aren't set up for it, so it's primarily just like a minor surgery center. It's not a major place. So I was pretty fortunate in where I got my surgery and that it wouldn't get canceled because of overwhelmed. But no, I got surgery before things got too bad. I mean, it's been bad all year, but it wasn't where we are now with 95% of bed. We've doubled our deaths in the last 2 months.
Skype screwed up.
Oh no! Did you not get all of that?
No, I basically you were saying after, you had your surgery after Thanksgiving and you were lucky because the beds weren't loaded up like they are now.
Just before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, cat. No. Okay. See, you've lost privileges now.
I have a question. Do you happen to know your blood type?
A positive.
Ooh, so you, was the test that you had certain that you were positive, or was it one of the ones that had a high risk of being a false positive?
It was one of the ones that's really rare to get a false positive. Like, they're the ones that can do false negatives.
Yeah.
Because, all can have pretty high false negative. But it's one of the ones, one of the scrape your brain ones that are a very low rate of false positive.
Yeah. Okay.
So it seems really unlikely that I didn't have it, at least to a point. But that's part of what's so scary about this is there are people like me who knows where I got it. I've been super careful. I haven't, I haven't been one of those people. And then I was really sick, hence the need for a surgery. So I wasn't putting myself at risk. I was barely even working. But somehow I got enough of the virus to test positive, and who knows how long I was, an asymptomatic carrier.
Yeah, well, the reason I was asking about your blood type is that people who are type A are at a high risk for serious complications from it.
Interesting. Yeah, nope, I'm fine. I was fine. Nothing. Not even the slightest symptoms.
Well, that's good, and hopefully you can get the vaccine before you get exposed to it again.
Yeah, that's the plan. I am a grocery worker, so we seem to be ones that they want to get into fairly early.
Yeah. You're breaking up.
Oh my God, what is going on? Here, maybe if I move this closer, is that better?
No.
I was having troubles with my internet just a few minutes ago, too.
Now it's cleared up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Maybe the CIA is downloading a bunch of stuff in your area.
Well, if so, they already know what I'm about, so.
Yeah. Well, they've got that big data farm in Utah.
I know. And it's probably all been hacked by the Russians at this point.
Oh, yeah.
God. Oh, the incompetence. It's amazing. It's impressive incompetence, really.
Well, in this case, I'm not so sure if it was incompetence.
Oh, fair enough. You know what? That's something I hadn't thought through, but you're right. So No, I didn't. My partner didn't get sick either. So
No, that's
yeah. So it's good that I didn't get sick. I'm so freaked out when I got positive. But I also like really needed the surgery.
yeah.
Yeah. And so having to wait 2 months, like that was brutal. So like that's the thing is like people who sit there and like don't care how many people it's killing. I don't know how they don't, but they don't, or don't believe or whatever. There's this virus is impacting lives in a myriad of ways, and it affected my ability to make a living dramatically. I almost lost my insurance because in America you can lose your insurance if you're not working enough. They can cancel it because you get sick. You say if you get sick, you can lose the insurance you need because you're sick. It's a great system.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So I almost lost my insurance. I didn't, thankfully. I could. By the end, I was able to work a few hours a week, and I mean like one day a week for a few hours. I was in a horrible pain. And so people sit there and they think that it's just a matter of a cold, but I know somebody who still is having brain fog and, got really, really sick. There are people who are really, it's affecting lives in a myriad of ways, and controlling it is an option. It seems like so many people they don't think that it is, or they don't care. And it's really disturbing.
Yeah. 4 people where I work have tested positive. None of them have had bad experiences with it.
That's good.
And 3 people I worked with have lost a relative due to it.
Yeah, I lost somebody I knew.
Yeah.
Not a relative. So far that's missed my family, which is good because a lot of my family isn't, they like to scapegoat my generation. They sit there and claim like, yeah, it's your generation that's going out and having parties. And I'm like, no, it's my generation that's forced to work with the public. You're the one who's going out and having family parties and get-togethers. And you're the ones who are making exceptions for family with masks off and stuff. And that's a huge part of the spread.
Yeah. Well, like my mom, I mean, she's being very, very sensible, but she's 89 years old. And she's a cancer survivor. So, if she gets it, that's pretty much it for her.
Ugh. It's awful.
Yeah. I mean, I told her months ago, I said, I'm not coming home for Christmas. And she goes, I wouldn't let you.
Yeah, that's good because, I've had some fights with my family about seeing them in person as, things started going bad. We didn't have Thanksgiving together, but then, there's been fights about not getting together in person. And it's like, I'm forced to go out and work. Like that's what I have to do to survive. And I am very, very much an essential worker, which just means, if we only get paid for our essential work, then we're selfish. But I have to work to survive, and I can't, and they all have to work. And we can't be taking these kinds of risks of getting together, especially now that it's cold, and we can't have the windows open, and we can't, because it's so cold in Utah. It gets so cold here. So, it's been a really rough year. But in this last month of this year, it's turned around. It's actually been a really good last month of this year for me. So the surgery, when I finally got it, it worked really, really well. I'm so much better. Like I never was sick better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And, just everything's going really well for me now. So that's good, but it's still been a rough one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, my thoughts is that, I'm just figuring that 2020 is the warm up for 2021. Because that would be the ultimate fuck you from 2020. Is that 5 years from now we look back going, man, I wish it was still 2020.
Oh, God. Oh, please no. Just Yeah, but I need 2021 to at least be moderately better.
Yeah.
From a personal need.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I mean,
like you, I'm an essential worker, and I don't get to work remotely. I have to go in every day. Fortunately,
Yeah.
I work in a facility that has less than 200 employees, and management has been very, very good about taking care of us. At first they didn't seem to take it as seriously as I thought they should, but they have really been busting ass to make sure we're all taken care of, as far as, putting up barriers and things like that, and enforcing masks. And I found out why. Corporate said if too many people in your facility get sick, you're getting fired.
Oh, yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, so, and I work in a food processing facility, there was that Tyson plant where the managers were taking bets on how many people were going to get sick.
Yeah. Yeah. The callousness of the petty bourgeoisie,
No.
Sometimes it'll rattle you. You're like, you're working class too. They're using you too. Like, you're not better than us.
Yeah.
But they get that little bit of power, and some people it really goes to their heads.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they because most of the people in those places are immigrants, they have the attitude, well, they're not really human.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And I work with I have a fairly diverse set of coworkers, a lot of teenagers, which is,
Worrying, yes.
Well, actually, some are worrying and some are pretty great. I don't have strong feelings about teenagers as a general.
Yeah, no, I know. But it's most kids that age all think they're immortal.
Some do, and some have been really respectful. Seriously, Kat? God, he's taken this thing. He's taken to this thing where if he wants pets, he claws me, and I'm like, no, I'm not giving in. That's terrible.
Yeah, well, that's why
that.
That's why I have, I call Fuzznuts my co-host, because it's easier than trying to edit him out of the show when he decides he's going to get in my face.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, Orzo's a regular on the Utah Outcast, too. It's not an episode until he's shown it the audience's butthole. And it'd be fine if he was just hanging out, but he's not. He's clawing at me, and I'm not aggressive, he's tapping, but he's using claws, and it's very unpleasant. Those things are sharp.
Yeah, I know. Fuzznuts often has to be held in my arms.
Yeah.
And it's a little hard to think about what you're saying when you've got a cat curled up on you like that.
I know. They kind of just zone you out.
Yeah.
Oh. So anyway, that's my COVID story. The good news is so I work in a room where it's basically just me and one other woman all day. And she actually had it too. She said she got sick, but not too sick. She couldn't smell or taste, but that was the worst she got. But so her and I both had it, so hopefully we're both still immune and not going to give it to each other. Who knows?
Yeah.
It at least helps, that it's just us two, because, we need to, even though we're both wearing face covering and everything, we still need to drink water and stuff through the day, because I work on my feet all day, and at a certain point I can't always wait till my breaks when I'm outside to drink water.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh my god, what did you do? Now a dog was messing with, so my screen just went black. Everything good? Are we good?
I can hear you.
Okay. It's like they had a goal tonight. They all planned this out earlier.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my COVID story. It's not too bad.
No.
But it at least is something people need to be aware of. There's a lot of asymptomatic carriers. This not feeling sick doesn't mean you can't get somebody else sick. It's so crazy.
Yeah, well, and even if you recover, you could have long-term health effects. And since this is such a new virus, we don't know how long they're going to last or what they will turn out to be.
Yeah.
There could be people keeling over 10 years from now, and at that point we'll realize, it was because they had COVID.
Yeah. We don't know, and it recently came out this week that the Trump administration has sent, just de facto took on a herd immunity plan based not on any expert's advice, but just somebody who's just like, people are going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't shut down the economy, and that's what they went with.
Well, and now the governors of various states are saying, we're being told we're not going to get as much as they said we were, and Pfizer's like, we got all the stuff. Well, just tell us where to send it.
I know. Yeah, Pfizer's saying they have unclaimed vaccines. Meanwhile, our governor, he's saying he's letting the bars open up again after 10. He did less, he did virtually nothing, making the bars close at 10. And then he's like, well, we need the sales for New Year's. That's exactly what the motivation is. And so, the bars can open again. And the thing is, so many people they don't know how to check for information, right?
Yeah.
And they don't know how to find out what is how to be safe, or regardless of government. And the government's like, it all needs to be personal choices. That's nonsense. A lot of people are waiting on authorities to tell them. They don't know how to check this. I have coworkers. I have one. When she went and did her taxes, she was telling me, she's like, well, we took off our mask. We were sitting 6 feet back, but she told us we could. And I said, no, you were indoors. That doesn't count. She's like, we thought it was okay because she said it was, because this person was in a position of authority and told them they could take off their mask. She didn't know. She didn't even know how to check. Yeah. It's criminal. It's virtually genocidal with who it's killing. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. No, it's the same way here. Our governor, he's like, well, I'm not going to issue a mask mandate, and I really think the decisions need to be left up to the mayors and the county officials, he hasn't said anything quite as stupid as Kemp in Georgia, who said, well, we didn't know it was airborne. Yeah, no, we did.
Yeah, we did.
But he was pretty close, and now Tennessee is the most infectious place in the world.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, leading killer in the United States right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying. So I don't know, learn from me, people. Just because you don't feel sick doesn't mean that you can't give it to somebody. Doesn't mean that you're not positive. That's part of what the trouble is so many people are spreading and they're positive and they don't feel sick. And so you don't know who you're going to give it to, and you don't know how it's going to affect them. And so I just urge people to not get together for Christmas. I will judge you if you do. I'm not going to sit here and say that I won't. I will judge you. And I judge you if you got together for Thanksgiving. I don't know. I guess that's the way to alienate people, but
no.
I'm sorry. At this point, people should know.
Yeah. Well, it's like at work. I mean, we're shut down now until the second week of January, and we always shut down in the last 2 weeks of December. And everybody's like, "Well, why are we staying shut down the first week of January?" And the plant manager said, "Because some of you are going to be stupid and go out and do something, and that week gives us a cushion. So hopefully, if anybody catches something, they get sick before they come back here and infect the rest of us."
That's a good call.
Yeah.
And I'm not an authoritarian. Like, I am a big believer that when you give people the ability to make proper choices, they do. But the problem is that all these Republican governors, and some of the Democrats, they're not giving people the information they need. They're not giving people what is necessary. There's not huge, they're not doing huge ad campaigns, giving people the kind of information they need. They're not telling people exactly what to do. And so many people just don't even know what exactly is safe. They just have no idea. They don't even know why the masks work.
Yeah.
They just know they're supposed to wear them, and if they don't know why, they're going to be lax with them.
Yeah. Well,
It's atrocious.
well, and then you've got Trump up there saying it's no big deal, don't fear it, don't worry about it, and all that. Which
I know.
my mom lives in Ohio, and the governor there has been really good, according to her, about following the science, and he's a Republican, but his the health secretary that he had, who was advising him, had to quit because she got was getting all these death threats,
Oh my God.
and we know they weren't coming from Democrats.
No. Oh, it's so scary.
Yep. Okay, well, let's move to something that's not scary.
Okay.
Let's get to the Acts of Thomas, and since you're the guest, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Act the third, concerning the servant. 30. And the apostle went forth to go where the Lord had bidden him. And when he was near the second milestone, he had turned a little out of the way. He saw the body of a comely youth lying. Ooh, getting saucy.
Mm-hmm.
So you had me on for the right section. All right. A comely youth lying and said, Lord, is it for this that thou hast brought me forth? Ooh, to come hither that I might see this trial temptation. Thy will therefore be done, thou dearest, as thou desirest. And he began to pray and, oh God, don't kill the moon. And to say, oh Lord, the judge of quick and dead, of the quick and the standby and the dead that lie here, and the master and the father of all things. Oh my God, go. Get a dom. There's a comely youth right there. Maybe he'll whip you. And Father, not only the souls that are are in the bodies, but of them that are gone forth of them. For of the souls also that are in the pollutions?
Yep.
All right. Thou art Lord and Judge. Come thou at this hour, wherein I call upon thee to show forth thy glory upon him that lieth here. Ugh. And he turned himself. Wait, I want to talk about the comely youth. And he turned himself unto them that followed him. Oh, he brought people with him. This thing is not come to pass without cause. But the enemy hath affected it. Oh, so it's his fault? You happened upon him and brought him. I assumed him. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe the youth was a lady youth. And that he may assault us thereby. And you see ye that he hath not made use of another sort, nor wrought through any of the other creatures creatures save that which is his subject. God damn it! I hate the way this is written.
Yeah. Some of these are pretty egregious as to how they are. Now, and it sounded like we were going to get some bukkake here.
Oh yeah, it seemed like it was going really great, and he was just like we comely youth. It was going to get really exciting, and then it was like, no, he's just going to talk to his daddy.
Yeah.
And his daddy does not do anything fun.
No.
Terrible daddy.
And,
all right.
And when he had so said, a great serpent came out of a hole, beating with his head and shaking his tail upon the ground. So
right.
He's hung. And with a loud voice said unto the apostle, I will tell before thee the cause wherefore I slew this man, since thou art come hither for that end, to reprove my works.
Wait, is the comely youth dead?
Apparently so.
What? Okay, we don't describe dead bodies as comely, okay? We just don't do that. That's real weird, Bible. Is it the Bible?
It's an apocryphal text.
Okay.
It's supposedly the account of the disciple Thomas in India.
Okay. Still weird.
Yeah, I mean, somebody says, "Oh, the corpse had come hither eyes."
Yeah. No.
You start backing away.
Now, don't talk to that person. Oh my god. Okay, sorry.
It's all right.
The serpent's dead, and he killed the comely youth.
Yeah. And the apostle said, "Yea, say on." And the serpent, "There is a certain beautiful woman in this village over against us. And as she passed by me, I saw her and was enamored of her. And I followed her and kept watch upon her."
Okay, dragon, honey, we gotta have words.
And I gotta find that Doors song where, Jim Morrison's going, "Ride the snake 7 miles or more."
That's this dragon.
Yeah. "And I found this youth kissing her, and he had intercourse with her, and did other shameful acts with her."
Oh, okay. So kissing and intercourse and other shameful acts. Okay, so this dragon is a fun sucker, is what I heard. But also, dragon, are you just mad because you wanted to fuck her? Like, that's what you were like. Oh, she was really hot, and then you were like, slut, when she didn't fuck you. She didn't even know you were there.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, if this dragon is supposed to be satanic, then he ought to be thinking, that's exactly what I want her to do, and what I want that boy to do. So, "And for me it was easy to declare them before thee, for I know that thou art the twin brother of the Christ." Ooh, so this follows the mythos that Thomas was Jesus' twin brother.
Oh, okay.
And Judas, I think it's Judas, means twin in Aramaic and also testicle.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
I mean, that tracks.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you find out avocado means testicle, and you're like, oh, yeah, that follows.
Yeah. There is...
Because they're twins. I get it.
Yeah, in Brazil, they have a campaign for awareness about testicular cancer, and they have a person who dresses up in a giant nutsack costume and goes out to, like fairs and carnivals and hands out educational literature and poses for pictures with kids.
Fantastic. They're just balls.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hurt you. I'm a cheese expert, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a type of cheese rind called Geotrichum rind, and there's an easy way to remember it. G, you tricked me into looking at your balls, because Geotrichum rinds are wrinkly and look like ball sack.
Oh.
G, you tricked me into looking at your balls. Geotrichum. Yeah. I didn't come up with it, but it served me well.
I can imagine. I've never heard of that cheese before.
It's not a cheese. It's a style of cheese rind on certain soft ripened cheeses. So it's a bacteria.
Well,
No. Yeah, it's a bacteria that affects the mold growth on certain cheese rinds.
Well, I learned a thing.
Yeah, isn't that fun? Mm-hmm. Cheese is very science heavy.
Yeah. But you can keep that maggot cheese. I'm not.
Oh no, nobody eats that. That's an abomination. It's literally only legally allowed on the one island, the Sicily, that it's made on. They're the only ones that eat it. It's not allowed off the island. It is casu marzu. I hate it. I hate it. I haven't tried it. I hate its existence. It's foul. It's foul and disgusting. It can kill you in several ways. I hate it. It shouldn't exist. And I'm normally a very patient person with other people's cultures. Like, there's a lot of people who have blood-based dishes, and I get it. That's fine. It's a perfectly good resource. It's high in protein. I get it. No, casu marzu is trash. It shouldn't be consumed, and it's probably going to stop being made in the next 50 years or so because young people there won't eat it. Fuck Kazu Marzu.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. And always abolishest our nature. But because I would not affright her, I slew him not at that time, but waited for him till he passed by in the evening, and smote and slew him, and especially because he had ventured to do this upon the Lord's day.
Oh my God. And the apostle inquired of him, saying, Tell me, oh my God, tell me of what seed and art, of what race thou art. All right, weird. And he went and he said unto him, I am a reptile of the reptile nature, and noxious son of the noxious father, of him that hurt and smote, and forth brethren which stood upright. I am son to him that sitteth on the throne over all the earth, that receiveth back his own from them that borrow. I am son to him that girdeth about the sphere, and I am kin to him that is outside the ocean, whose tail is set in his own mouth. All right, that dragons into some weird shit. I am he that entered through the barrier into paradise and spake with Eve the things that which my father bade me speak. Oh, it's that serpent.
Mm-hmm.
I am he that kindled and inflamed Cain to kill his own brother, and on mine account did thorns and thistles grow upon. Oh, really? Oh, goat heads are you. All right, fuck you. I am he that cast down angels from above and bound them in lusts after women. that children born of earth might come from them, and I might work my will in them. I am he that hardened Pharaoh's... No, you didn't harden Pharaoh's heart. I know that part. That was God. That he should slay the children of Israel and enslave them with the yoke of cruelty. I am he that caused the multitude to err in the wilderness when they made the calf. I am he that inflamed Herod and enkindled... Oh, shoot. What's that name?
Caiaphas, whom I've...
Caiaphas, unto false accusation of a lie before Pilate. It is Pilate. And for this was fitting to me. I am he that stirred up Judas and bribed him to deliver the... No, you're not! I am he that... So this is God? Is it God? I am he that inhabiteth and holdeth the deep of hell, and Son of God that hath wronged me against my will, and chosen them that were his own from me. I am kin to him that is come from the east, unto whom also power is given to do with what he will upon the earth. Oh my God. Okay. First, so he's the serpent.
Yep.
But he's also the one that hardened Pharaoh's heart. Now we know, and he got Judas to betray Christ. But we know that was God's doing, that God chose those paths. First of all, we know for a fact that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And we know that God had decided that he himself as his son would sacrifice himself to himself. That was always in the plan. And for that to happen, Judas had to betray him. So that was always in the plan. So then that tells me that God was the serpent in the garden?
It sounds like that. I mean, this whole thing is just a weird mishmash, because if he's Satan, he really shouldn't care about the kids getting their freak on. In fact, he should encourage it, but obviously he was upset about that, so he killed the one.
But not the pretty girl.
Well, it just doesn't make any... Well, then again...
Like, I will do what he will upon the earth. That sounds like God.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
And when... Well, and let's not forget that, in Genesis it says that God put his foot upon the serpent and said, you will walk no more. You will crawl on your belly.
Yeah. Yep.
And when that serpent had spoken these things in the hearing of all the people, the apostle lifted up his voice on high and said, Cease thou henceforth, O most shameless one,
and be put to confusion, and die wholly, for the end of thy destruction is come, and dare not to tell of what thou hast done by them that have become subject unto thee. And I charge thee in the name of that Jesus who until now contendeth with you for the men that are his own, that thou suck out thy venom which thou hast put into this man, and draw it forth and take it from him. But the serpent said, Not yet is the end of our time come, as thou hast said. Wherefore compellest thou me to take back that which I have put into this man?
Good point, serpent.
Yeah, he's not going to felch him.
and like, honestly, he's like, what, you gonna make me? Like, he's got a point.
Yep. And to die before my time? For...
Wait, but... Okay. So he's gonna die if he... But it's his venom.
Yeah.
Alright.
For my own Father, which he shall draw forth and suck out that which he hath cast into the creation, then shall his end come. Okay. And the apostle said unto him, Show then now the nature of thy father. And the serpent came near and set his mouth upon the wound of the young man, and sucked forth the gall out of it. And by little and little the color of the young man, which was as purple, became white. Well, that doesn't sound like he's from India.
No, it doesn't. And also, I remember when this youth was described as comely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Purple and swelled. I assume swelled because that's what the purple implies.
Yeah.
Does not a comely... Like, it's not even like, it's not even like, you know, like tuberculosis, where, like, they thought it was beautiful because it made you pale and thin. Like, it's not even like that. He's, like, swollen and purple from venom. That's nasty. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, well, and the serpent said he wasn't going to do that, and now he does it.
Yeah, and then he was like, you're not going to compel me. And then he just does it. Like, did he talk himself into it? I must have missed that part.
Yeah. But the serpent swelled up, and when the serpent had drawn up all the gall into himself, the young man leapt up and stood, and ran and fell at the apostles' feet. But the serpent, being swelled up, burst and died. There we go. And his venom and gall were shed forth. Ooh, so they rained all over him.
It's gross.
And in the place where his venom was shed, there came a great gulf, and that serpent was swallowed up therein. And the apostles said unto the king and his brother, Take workmen and fill up that place, and lay foundations and build houses upon them, that it may be a dwelling place for strangers. Yeah, that's where I want to live. On top of...
Well, I mean, they're immigrants. Come on, you can't treat them like they're whole people. But it's better than the United States, where they at least get houses.
Yeah. Well, we get houses. They just look like cages.
Oh, boy, that's heavy. Okay, so the youth is all white again. All right. But the youth said unto the apostle with many tears, Wherein have I sinned against thee? For thou art a man that has two forms. I'm not going to do that the whole time. And wherever so thou wilt, there thou art found, and art restrained of no man, as I behold. For I saw that man that stood by thee, and said unto thee, I have many wonders to okay, so now we're in a quote. I have many wonders to show forth by thy means, and I have great works to accomplish by thee, for which thou shalt receive a reward, and thou shalt make many to live, and they shall be in rest and light eternal, as children of God. Do thou, they, saith he, speaketh unto thee of me? Quicken this youth that he hath been stricken of the enemy, and be at times his overseer. Well, therefore, art thou come hither, and well shalt thou depart again unto him, and yet he never shall leave thee at any time. But I am become without care or reproach, and he hath enlightened me from care of the night, and I am at rest from the toil of the day. And I am oh my God, dude, what? Dude, this is a weird dream you had. And I am set forth from free from him that provoked me to do thus. Oh, I didn't fuck her. The devil made me fuck her. sinning against him that taught me to do contrary thereto. And I have lost him that is the kinsman of the night, and compelled me to sin by his own deeds. It was that guy. And I have found him that is of the light, and is my kinsman. I have lost him that darketh and blindeth his own subjects, that they may not know what they do, being ashamed of their own works. I thought they didn't know what they do. May depart from him, and their works come to an end. And I found him whose works are light, and his deeds truth, which if a man doeth, he repenteth not of them. And I have left him whom lying abideth, and before whom darkness goeth as a veil, and behind him followeth shame, shameless indolence. And I have found him that showeth me fair things, that I may take hold on them, even the son of the... Okay, dude, you fucked a pretty girl. Pretty sure that's a fair thing. Even the son of the truth that is akin unto concord, who scattereth away the mist of enlightenment, his own creation, and healeth wounds thereof, and overthroweth his enemies thereof. I beseech thee, O man of God, cause me to behold him again, and to see him is that he is now become hidden from me, that I may also hear his voice, whereof I am not able to express the wonder, for it belongeth not to the nature of this bodily organ. All right, it's getting sexy again. Let's do this.
And the
he can't feel it alone with his bodily organ. He needs this guy to help him feel that again.
Yeah, I guess doing the stranger just hasn't cut it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it out here. I don't think that this comely youth is entirely straight.
That seems to be a common thread through a lot of these books.
Interesting. I mean, that's a common thread through a lot of ancient texts, too. That it's not like they had a concept of straightness, so...
Yeah. And the apostle answered him, saying, If thou depart from these things, whereof thou hast received knowledge, as thou hast said, and if thou who it is that hath wrought this in thee, and learn and become a hearer of him whom now in thy fervent love thou seekest, thou shalt both see him and be with him forever. And in his rest shalt thou rest. That's a little redundant. And thou shalt be in his joy. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. But if thou be slackly disposed toward him, and turn again unto thy former deeds, and leave that beauty and that bright countenance which now was showed thee, and forget the shining of his light, which now thou desirest, not only will thou be bereaved of this life, but also of that which is to come, and thou wilt depart unto him whom thou saidest thou hast lost, and will no more behold him whom thou saidest thou hast found. Okay, whatever. And if you're saying anything, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted because I opened a can of White Claw. Look, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have fun.
Oh, I don't blame you.
All right, I have no idea what that last paragraph really was getting at. I have no idea if he's gonna fuck the kid or not. So maybe this paragraph will enlighten us.
Well, the first sentence looks promising.
And when the apostle had said this, he went into the city holding the hand of that youth, and saying unto him, These things which thou hast seen, my child, are but a few of the many of which God hath. For he doth not give us good tidings concerning these things that are seen, but greater things that he doth promise us. But so long as we are in the body, we are not able to speak and show forth those which he shall give us unto our souls. If we say that he give us light, it is this which is seen, and we have it. If we say it of wealth which is and appeareth in the world, we name it, we speak of it something in this world. And we need it not, for it hath been said, Hardly shall a rich man enter into the kingdom of heaven. And if we speak of apparel, of raiment, wherein they are luxurious in this life and clad, it is named, and it has been said, that they wear soft raiment that are in the house of kings. And if of costly banquets concerning these we have received commandment to beware of them, not to be weighed down with reveling and drunkenness. Come on, this guy sucks. And the cares of life, speaking of those things that are, And it hath been said, Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither for your body. Oh, come on, dude! What ye shall put on, for the soul is more than of the meat of this body than the raiment. And of the rest, we speak of this temporal rest, a judgment is the appointed for this also. But we speak of the world which is above, of God and angels, of watchers and holy ones, of the immortal food, and the drink of the true vine. Don't fuck and drink and eat good food right now, because you're gonna get it in heaven. Yeah, that's real convenient for those in power, like this fucking guy, who probably gets invited to banquets all the time and wears comfy clothes, gets to fuck whoever he wants. Yeah, and let's see, I lost my place. Endureth and groweth not of old, of things of which eye hath not seen nor heard, neither have they entered into the heart of sinful men, the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. Of these things we do converse, and of these we do bring good tidings. Do thou therefore also believe on him, that thou mayest live, and put trust in him, and thou shalt not die. For he is persuaded with gifts, that thou shouldest offer them to him. Neither is he in need of sacrifices. Wait, I also know about the sacrifices, guys. That thou shouldest sacrifice unto him. But look thou unto him, and he will not overlook thee, and turn unto him, and he will not forsake thee. For his comeliness and his beauty will make thee wholly desirous to love him. And he indeed permitteth thee not to turn thyself away. Okay, that is a bullshit promise. God will fuck you better than any fuck you can get in life if you wait and don't do it till you die. That is horseshit. That is real convenient for the people in power. Or there is another reading to this that I'm thinking of now. It could be, don't worry about enjoying your sex life on the planet, because you're going to have really good sex later. Just take my dick. Don't worry about if it feels good or not.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting. Because God's going to fuck you real good, and he's going to give you really good wine, and he's going to give you really good food when you die, so you don't need to worry about what your body is dealing with.
Yeah, well...
you don't need to worry about if you like it or not, because you're going to get it. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good when you know.
Well, and he also says, he permitteth thee not to turn away. That sounds like an abusive relationship to me.
Well, I mean, it always is with God, right?
Yeah. But that's pretty explicit.
Yeah. But you're going to like it. It's going to be it's not so much abuse as it's like a good BDSM relationship.
Yeah.
But then again, in a good BDSM relationship, you can always say a safe word.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how it's supposed to work.
That's how it's supposed to work, yep.
And when the apostle had said these things unto that youth, a great multitude joined themselves unto them. And the apostle looked and saw them raising themselves on high, that they might see him. And they were going up into high places. And the apostle said unto them, Ye men that are come unto the assembly of Christ, and would believe on Jesus, take example hereby, and see that if ye be not lifted up, ye cannot see me who am little, and are not able to spy on me who am like unto you. Okay, that makes no sense. If then ye cannot see me who am like you, unless ye lift yourselves up a little from the earth, how can ye see him that dwelleth in the height, and is now found in the depth? Unless ye first lift yourselves up out of your former conversation and your unprofitable deeds. Disease seems like it would fit there. And your desires that abide not, and the wealth that is left here. And
sorry, no, he means on the earth after you die. I was like, give your wealth, you just leave your wealth right here where I am.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah.
And the possession of earth that groweth old, and the raiment that corrupteth, and the beauty that waxeth old and vanisheth away. And yet more out of the whole body, wherein all these things are stored up, and which groweth old and become dust, returning unto its own nature. For It is the body which maintaineth all these things, but rather believe on our Lord Jesus Christ, whom we preach, that your hope may be in him, and in him ye may have life, world without end, that he may become your fellow traveler in this land of error, and may be to you a harbor in this troublous sea. And he shall be to you a fountain springing up in this thirsty land, and a chamber full of food in this place of them that hunger, and a rest unto your souls, yea, and a physician for your bodies.
Again, it'll be good when you die, I promise. Then the multitude of them that were gathered together, hearing these things, wept, and they said unto the apostle, I can't do a thing where I sound like I'm multiple people speaking once. Oh, man of God. And they said this together?
Yeah.
Oh, man of God, the God whom thou preachest, we dare not say that we are his, for the works which we have done are alien unto him, and they are not pleasing unto him. But in conjunction, this is amazing. But if he will have compassion, I want to see this in a film. Like,
yeah.
The director just like wants, he's a true Christian, and like the whole crowd all at once does all of this at the same time. This is great.
Well,
we dare not say that we are his. Oh, sorry. But if he will have compassion on us and pity us and save us, overlooking our former deeds, and will set us free from the evils which we committed, being in error, and not impute them onto us, nor make remembrance of our former sins, we will become his servants, and we will accomplish his will unto the end. And end quote. And the apostle answered them and said, He reckoneth not against you, neither taketh account of the sins which ye committed, being in error, but overlooketh your transgressions, which ye have done in ignorance. Wait, I thought that it all counts, though. Oh, wait, but if it's done in ignorance, it's not a problem. Fine, whatever. At least, okay, that's not the worst version of God I've heard.
Yeah. Okay, and I think I've inflicted enough pain and torment on you for one evening.
We didn't even get fucking. I mean, we heard about it, but it didn't have, like, the serpent saw it. We didn't get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We didn't get any of the goodie bits.
No. And that the comely youth was trying. He was trying.
Yeah.
Like, how much more obvious did he need to be?
Apparently a little more obvious.
Apparently.
Okay, so why don't we tell everybody where you can find your podcast?
Utah Outcast, YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts. So we do video record. It is just our heads talking at each other. But it's fun. But you can also just listen to the audio podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, I don't know, just online, whatever, wherever you feel like listening. We have a Patreon. If you like what you hear and you want to support us, we really appreciate that. Utah Outcast on Patreon. And you can find me on Twitter at Felicia Entwined. Yep, that's very appropriate for this episode. Felicia Entwined on Twitter, where I talk commie shit. Yeah. Is that good?
Yep. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
Perfect.
As a matter of fact, you were quite enjoyable, and
good.
I will almost certainly be wanting you back to do more of these at some point in the future.
Please invite me. I had a great time.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for this episode of The Atheist in the Trailer Park Podcast. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, as well as just about anywhere else podcasts can be found. Many of the episodes are also on YouTube. Follow the show on Twitter. @TParkAtheist is the show's Twitter handle. It's on Facebook at facebook.com/trailerparkatheist.com. If you happen to like the podcast, please rate it on iTunes. If you'd like to support the podcast, there's a donate button on the show notes page. You can support it via Patreon at patreon.com/TNTucker. Thanks for listening.
Say goodnight, Fuzz-Nuts.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
Damned cat.